Chapter 6. The Merhorses. Mom and I hurried through the snack that Dad and Plop had made. Pip sat on my head. He kept fidgeting, which was very distracting. "I think Zoe and I are going to head back to the stream," said Mom. "I'd like to see if we can find the source of the pollution." "Absolutely," Dad said. "I'll come with you guys. 3 pairs of eyes are better than 2, right?" Mom and I exchanged worried looks. Pip wanted to take us to the Merhorses so we could talk to them. How could we do that with my dad there? It would look like we were talking to air again. After our conversation with Pip earlier, it might be too much for Dad. Mom's eyes lit up. "That would be great! Why don't you and I go upstream and Zoe can go downstream? We'll meet again at the middle?" We all agreed on Mom's plan and went back to the stream. Unlike my usual trips to the stream, this time I had a frog sitting cross-legged on my head. The trail ended at the stream, and I stopped to take my shoes and socks and roll up my pants. My parents walked upstream. "The Merhorses live over there. Let's go," Pip said as he wiggled nervously. I plucked him off my head. "Hey," he pouted. "I can't see where you're pointing." "I can't see where you're pointing," I whispered. "Here, right on my shoulder instead." "The Merhorses live over there," he repeated. This time I could see him point toward the other side of the stream, from where I had been looking for bugs this morning. Wait a minute. Wasn't that where I had seen that mysterious rainbow light earlier? Maybe I hadn't been imagining it after all. I gave Sassafras a quick pet and then carefully crossed the stream with Pip on my shoulder. "We need to get over there to that log," Pip directed me. "You can sit on the shore there and I'll dive down to get the Merhorses." "Get them from where?" I asked. "From the Rainbow Cave, of course," replied Pip. "Rainbow Cave?" I breathed. "Oh, right." Pip clapped a web hand to his head. You've never even seen a merhorse." "Yes, they live deep down in the stream in hidden caves they built with rainbow stones." "Wait a minute, are you telling me there are rainbow stones in our stream?" My heart beat a little faster at the thought. "Well, yes and no," Pip said. "They aren't just lying around, if that's what you're thinking. When a merhorse finds a stone that's the right size and shape, it carries it back to the cave in its mouth. Then the merhorse uses magic to enchant the stone to shimmer in all the colors of the rainbow." "Their caves sound amazing," I said dreamily. "That must be why they're hidden. I bet if caves were near the top of the water, animals like raccoons could find them easily with that rainbow light shining out." "Indeed," said Pip. "You're pretty smart for a human. You remind me a lot of your mother when she was your age. Ah, here we are. This log right here is the one we're looking for." I knelt on the sandy shore. Pip hopped off my shoulder and jumped in with a sploosh. I got down on my hands and put my face right by the water. He disappeared under the log, but if I held my head in the right place, I could make out some rays of rainbow light shimmering deep below. I wished I had brought my underwater viewer. Next time, I promised myself. Pip swam back into view, and something was following right behind him. Chapter 7. Please help. The thing behind Pip was small, and the front half looked exactly like a miniature horse with light gray fur. Its white mane waved gently as 2 tiny hooves paddled through the water. Right around where its belly button would have been, it turned from a horse into a fish. The bottom part of its body was covered in dark green scales, and its powerful fish-like tail moved up and down as it swam. Its colors blended in with most things in the stream, so I doubted I would have spotted one on my own. I put both hands in the water and watched in awe as it swam gracefully towards me. Pip climbed out of the water and sat on my wrist while the merhorse glided into the palms of my hands. I started to lift it out of the water to take a closer look. "Whoa, what are you doing?" Pip yelped in alarm. "The merhorse needs to be underwater to breathe." "Oh!" I immediately lowered my hands. Now that they were back in the water, I could see flaps hidden by the horse's fur on the merhorse's neck. They opened and closed over and over again. The merhorse had gills. Of course. I leaned closer to it and said, "I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you had gills. I'll keep you in the water." The merhorse moved its mouth as though it were talking, but all I heard were some very strange, quiet sounds. I looked to Pip for help. "Ah, yes, you don't speak merhorse. I'll translate." Pip ran his hands down his purple skin and brushed off the rest of the water. He cleared his throat again and began. He said, "Dear human girl, thank you for coming to help me and my fellow merhorses. We fear something is very wrong with our stream." The merhorse continued talking. I turned to Pip. Pip translated. "Many days ago, we all felt our fur and scales burning and itching. Our eyes stung. It was hard to breathe. This horrible feeling continued the next day, and a few days later we had trouble finding mayflies to eat. After a while, the stinging in our eyes seemed to get better, but this morning it began once more." I couldn't be positive yet, but from what the merhorse was saying, it seemed like the pollution was worse on the weekends. That could be a clue. "I'm sorry to hear that," I said, leaning down toward the merhorse. "I also can't find any mayfly nymphs in the stream. My parents and I ran some tests on the stream water, and we think someone might be dumping soap into the stream." The merhorse spoke again. Pip held a hand to his mouth and gasped. My stomach tightened. "What is it, Pip?" Pip looked up at me with sad eyes. He said, "Can you find who it is? Can you get them to stop, please? I fear if things do not improve, we may starve. I do not know how many more days we can last here." My heart dropped. We couldn't lose the merhorses too. "We'll find a way to fix the stream water. We have to. I'll be back soon to let you know what we figure out." We had to save the merhorses, and quickly. Chapter 8. Sassafras? I waded back to the opposite side of the stream with Pip once again on my shoulder. He hopped down when we got to shore. "I'm really worried about those poor merhorses, Zoe. They're so hungry. I don't think I can find any moo-flies, but someone in the forest might have something they can eat. I'll check back with you later." I gave a big sigh of relief. "That's a wonderful idea, Pip. They definitely need to eat. You work on that, and I'll try to figure out where the pollution is coming from." Pip hopped into the forest. I opened my journal and added everything I just learned. Question: where is the stream pollution coming from? Observations: seems like soap is being dumped on the weekends. And pollution started about a week ago. I looked up to see my mom and dad coming toward me, but I didn't see Sassafras anywhere. He was probably hiding up in a tree again, freaked out that a drop of stream water might get on him. "Sassafras?" I called. "Sassafras!" Where was that cat? My mom and dad joined me. "Sassafras!" we all hollered. Finally, we heard a faraway meow. Was that Sassafras? What was Sassafras doing way down there? I asked. We headed toward the distant meowing. Every few feet we stopped and called Sassafras, and each time the meow got louder. We rounded a bend in the stream and found him balancing on a log. His tail was all fluffed up and he was growling at some white foam caught behind a log. Wait, foam? Soap! Sassafras, I said. You found the soap! I ran over to pet him, and I noticed a pipe above his head. Mom, Dad, what is this weird pipe? It must be where the soap is coming from. Mom bent down, swiped some of the soap foam, and sniffed it. Mom, why are you smelling it? Mom laughed. That must look strange. I was checking to make sure it wasn't natural foam. Sometimes when leaves and other bits of the forest break down, they can make bubbles that look similar to soap bubbles. But there's no mistaking the smell of store-bought soap. Here, see what I mean? Mom put her foam-covered hand out to me, and I sniffed. It smelled sort of like dish soap. Definitely not at all like a forest or leaves or stream water. I still don't get it, I said, peering into the pipe. What is this pipe? Where is this water coming from? It's storm water, Mom and Dad said at the same time. I looked at them, completely confused. Storm water? It wasn't raining, and I was pretty sure that water from storms came from the sky and the clouds, and not from pipes in the ground. When it rains, what happens to the rain here in the forest? Mom asked. It goes into the ground and makes mud and stuff? I answered. Exactly, said Mom. Now, what happens when it rains on sidewalks and roads? I thought. It makes puddles? And it makes little rivers in the gutters? Right. And where do those little rivers in the gutters go? Asked Mom. I thought and thought, but I wasn't sure. I mean, the water must go somewhere. I needed my thinking goggles. I squinched my eyes tight, pretended my thinking goggles were on my head, and tried to think about little rivers of water in gutters. I stretched and reached for a distant memory in my mind. There it was. My friend Sophie and I had been waiting by the side of the road for our bus in the pouring rain. We'd broken some sticks into little pieces and dropped them into the gutter river. The sticks zoomed along, and they went down some sort of drain. Into a drain thingy, I announced proudly. Yes, a storm drain, Mom said. If we didn't have them, our roads and sidewalks would flood. Rain can't soak into sidewalks and roads like it can into the forest dirt. So we collect all the extra water in gutters, and it goes into a storm drain. And then it comes out here at the stream? I interrupted. Yes. So anything that's up there on the street can get gathered up by the rainwater and taken to a nearby stream or ocean. That's why we have to be careful about what we do on our streets and sidewalks. I put my hands on my hips and looked up. There's just one problem. It's not raining. So why is water coming out of this pipe? Is the water coming from a town far away where it's raining or something? Great observation, my mom smiled. No, it's definitely coming from somewhere nearby. Let's see if you can put this last piece of the puzzle together. What uses soap and water, and a lot of it? Enough to fill a gutter with soapy water. I wrinkled my nose in thought. I imagined a gutter river of soapy water. To make that much soapy water, you'd have to wash something big, really big, like a boat or a car. A car wash, I shouted. Sassafras flew backward off the log. Whoops, I didn't mean to be quite that loud. But I was so excited, it had to be a car wash. Mom and Dad nodded together, and I couldn't stop smiling. We could definitely fix this. First, we needed to find the car wash. That couldn't be too hard, right? We will leave off here for now, and we will continue in Chapter 9 next week. All right. Thank you, guys. I'll see you soon.